we recognize as a country, we followed a path of coal-based industrialization in the 20th century. For us, the challenge is how to change from that trajectory and how to create more jobs in the process. Last year, the South African government adopted what we call a new growth path. It's a program that places jobs at the center of our development. It targets 5 million new jobs by 2020, and it puts a significant emphasis on the green economy.
I mean, South Africa is a G20 country now. It is the 12th largest emitter in the world. Unlike other African countries, South Africa is a big contributor to the problem. And South Africa has to do what it does good globally, which is in the climate negotiations, it's largely been on the positive side of the equation, but it cannot actually maintain a honest broker role, and if it continues to be one of the largest emitters in the world and continues to actually not only rely on coal, but continues to invest in coal like the Medupi and Kusile plants, which we calculate the country actually doesn't need, and which will cost about 60 billion rand a year, even after it's built, in terms of real costs, in terms of its impact on health, its impact on water consumption and so on.
This government has actually adopted a whole host of the energy mix in our, what we call the IRP, Integrated Energy Renewal Plan. And the objective is to ensure that we move, as Minister Patel illustrated and indicated, into the renewables, not abandoning coal completely. Because we do believe that, first of all, we need space to develop those renewables until such time that we have adequate, good infrastructure that's inexpensive for our people within the area of renewables. At the same time, acknowledging that there are industries like your mining industry and so on that will still require some level of usage of coal. I'm sure people are surprised why we're still building Kusile and Medupi station, those power stations. They are not the same power stations that were like those that were built in 19-something, or something, 1956, 19-something. They're power stations that utilizes new technologies so that they don't really contribute much to the business as usual kind of carbon emission into the space.
Look, I think South Africa has been very slow in its shifts to, adopting the new technologies required or shifting policy to ensure that we are going to move on this path. They've been slow at it. What concerns South Africa probably, and it is also something that we hear from the private sector, is the issue of energy security. So disruption of supply will have huge impacts on the economy, that will have huge impacts on job creation, etc., etc. And certainly, I think in the short term, we have to consider this. But you don't wait until the time, in the future we will now invest in the alternatives. You can only move away from coal once you have set up the alternatives. And that, I think, the South African government has not understood enough. Maybe they're moving now, and they will hopefully move faster, but I think they've moved very late. And they certainly have to play catch up.